Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone over here. I am Ashwini Aronkar, your Sergeant at Arms and Zoom Master for today's meeting. To state the mission of the Toastmaster International, we provide supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak, what we believe in Leadership Speak. So Leadership Speak is a premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has their virtual hand raised, so we all can immediately see who is keeping the time. I shall also be spotlighting the timer. Our Toastmaster of the day, who will lead our meeting, is none other than Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt. To tell about Hannah's work in and around Toastmasters. So she is, Hannah's continuous leadership process has escalated since March 2020, when Toastmasters started holding online meetings. She had learned on how fast to adapt in order to develop and redefine her online leadership skills. She is a member of 4 global clubs. As each club has its own culture, she realizes that leadership development and leadership communication is indeed a continuous learning process. With thunderous round of applause, please help me welcome Toastmaster Hannah as our Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster Hannah, the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, Ashwini. Good day, fellow Toastmasters. Leadership development is a person development, part of a lifelong learning experience that everyone is involved in. That is what Robin Chapman said. At the very early stage, at the very start of life, when we are born, we learn how to breathe. And that is a lifelong, continuous process. With our siblings, we involuntarily learn how to lead the pack. Even in the animal world, there is a continuous learning process for the alpha animal to take over leadership. To assist me with my leadership, and my emphasis today is on the ship for the leaders, I am extremely grateful to have the following navigators on board. First of all, to raise the toast, Kenneth. His thoughts about today's theme is, as a leader, it's always important to be learning something new and seeking more knowledge. Over to you, Kenneth, for the toast.
Thank you, our Toastmaster of the day, Hannah. Welcome, Global Toastmasters. Zig Ziglar, a renowned American author and a motivation speaker, say, make failure your teacher, not your undertaker. He goes ahead and states that everyone who is a success is a continual learner. As a leader, as delegates at an advanced club, it is always important to be learning something new and seeking new knowledge, more knowledge. However, today, we shall reflect at our journey, how far we have moved, the number of skills and knowledge retention we have attained at Leadership Speak. Indeed, we shall join together and raise our glasses for a toast. I will request everyone to unmute your microphone and say, everyone who is a success is a continual learner. Everyone who is a success
is a continual
learner.
learner.
Over to you.
Cheers.
Yes, that is the
Yes.
spirit. My next navigator on board is Toastmaster Marino, my grammarian, and he has the word of the day and controls that we use the correct language and not that language spoken on board ship. His thoughts for today is continuous learning, the ongoing expansion of knowledge and skill sets. As a leader, you should acquire knowledge like a child. And aren't they inquisitive, those children? Over to you, Rinan.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Hannah. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, our leaders. So today, I'll play a role as a grammarian. So my role as a grammarian to track the good uses of the English and also the errors or pronunciations that you mistake. And as a grammarian, I also take care of the course, thoughts, word, saying by all the speakers throughout the meeting. As a grammarian, my responsibility also to introduce the word of the day. So ladies and gentlemen, today word of the day is delegate. Delegates means to give control, responsibility, or authority to someone, to trust someone with a job or duty. Like, example, good leaders know how to delegate. And I know that we all know what is all about leader and how should we delegate our work to others. So with that, I also urge you, whenever anybody uses the word of the day, delegate, please applause. I'll present my report at the end of the session when the general evaluator asks for. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Hannah.
Thank you very much, delegate. And as captain of the ship, I delegate the next row to my timer, Fabiola. She is there to hold the virtual clock to monitor each player and speaker's time so that we can enter dock on time. Her introduction or her words about the theme, it's the climb that matters. Once you reach the pinnacle, find another mountain to climb. Fabiola, please give a short description of your role.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster of the day, and a pleasant day to all. Today, I am delegated to keep track of the time, and I will be doing this by using virtual backgrounds. The virtual backgrounds that I'm going to use are the green for when you reach your minimum time, the yellow as you're supposed to be wrapping up in order to finish in time. When you are there, you will see the red background. I will be using the times stated on the agenda. We'll be posting them in the chat, and at the end, my report will be giving you additional comments where needed. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. That is how it should be done. Keep the time. Now, I have 4 extremely competent midshipmen and women on board to let us hear how their learning process has developed. Asif Saiyed will keep us glued to our seats with his leadership educational speech from the path Motivational Strategies. Asif is a continuous learner. He is very passionate about business, education, public speaking. In his career of 28 years, he has worn many hats as an auditor, entrepreneur, trainer, consultant. Asif has been a Toastmaster for 6 years, was president of the Inner Universe Toastmasters Club in the United Arab Emirates, and has mentored many Toastmasters to take us up to the platform in solving their day-to-day communication leadership challenges. And his theme for today, or one of the most important ways that leaders can lead, is VUCA: vitality, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. World is through constant learning and access to new information. That's what I call continuous learning, because I have learned something new. Rosa is his evaluator. Rosa, would you please give the objectives of this speech?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Having heard Asif's introduction, I truly look forward to his professional speech. So his path is motivational strategies, and he is in level 5. Today, he is preparing to speak professionally, and it will be a keynote type speech. A keynote type speech exemplifies professional speaking by being dynamic, uplifting, and keeps the audience engaged for a long period of time. So welcome, Mohammad Asif, with your speech, Learning in a VUCA World. Learning in a VUCA World, Mohammad Asif.
And Madam Timer, his time is 18, 20, and 22 minutes. Over to you, Asif.
Am I audible? Am I visible? Can anybody speak out? I
Yeah,
could
we
see
can
some
hear
of
you,
the
we can
hands
see
going
you.
on. I could see some of the hands going on. Now, this line has become so normal as of today that we learned something new in the last 2 years, which we didn't have to anyway speak whenever we are going to give a speech. Yes, in the olden days, we were still, and even today, we are still speaking in front of a microphone. But am I visible? Am I audible? Oh my God, this wasn't any time our line. What has happened for leaders in the last 2 years? We are now living in a VUCA world. What is VUCA? Volatility, V for volatility, U for uncertainty, C for complexity, and A for ambiguity. Now, this term of VUCA was coined by the American Institute in Military Institute, where they are focused on how their soldiers can quickly adapt to changing situations in a war zone. Now, you know, the war zone, things can change minute by minute. And that is where they were training their soldiers how to adapt to continuously changing environment. And then this term was later on borrowed in a corporate environment. Now, it's so important for today's leaders. It has demonstrated in this COVID, post-COVID era, or during the COVID era, where it shattered all that knowledge, all those principles which leaders were exposed to. What are leaders exposed to? Or what have they been taught right from ages and ages? Start with an objective in mind. Start with the planning, what you want to do in the next 3 years, 5 years. In the recent times, in the last, let's say, 8 to 10 years, what is happening? things are changing so fast because of the technological changes. The technology is changing so fast that whatever products or even the businesses, services they were offering have to be constantly changed, keeping in terms with the changing circumstances of the technology. For example, let me talk about Nokia. What happened for Nokia? They were leaders in mobile technology. They had two kinds of phones. One kind of a phone was a small phone or a tough phone, which is a rigid phone, which you must have ever had. And there was something about smart technology, which was in very, very nascent times that time. There was a lobby in this particular company. The small phones or the unsmart phones, the dumb phones, were selling hotcakes. Whereas this smart technology was something too new. And the lobby in the corporate world, in this company, focused on to kill this smartphone technology. Imagine they were the leaders in that technology. Later on, adopted by Samsung and Apple. Where is Nokia now? So it's so important for leaders to understand how to adapt in a changing environment, how to lead in a changing environment. And for that, they need to continuously learn or keep themselves updated with the latest trends in managing the workforce, the businesses, and what we call it as digital data-driven leadership. In today's environment of our economy, leaders have to be conscious about two things. One, because of the volatility or the fast changing, massive changes, continuous changes in the technology. And second thing, the complexity of the environment. Now, if you imagine the business like a bank, it has so many connections with third-party service providers or a telecom. There is a connection between the telecom and the bank to leverage services like mobile banking, internet banking, voice banking. And a customer can move from one device or an option of channel to another channel. Means you can call a call center and you can quickly transfer your transaction to a mobile technology. Now that is such a big challenge for today's leaders to adapt to a digitally driven business. For that, today, old methodologies of, we call it as, let's say, a waterfall technology, means I will spend a lot of time in doing the planning and envisioning what all things will come. And then start developing your product or service. And then go and test it. And then you go to the market. By the time you reach in the market in the next 1 or 2 years, your product or service is already outdated. So what the leader needs now to do is, in order to service such an environment today, they need to develop agility in the workforce. And that requires a lot of innovation on the fly. Now that is so tough. First of all, as leaders, you need to learn how quickly to navigate through the environment, collect all the feeds, that is the data, from all different sources, take a decision so that you can service quickly and you can be a leader in giving or providing your service. So it's so important to develop agility within yourself as well as your workforce. Now, in order to develop agility, what is required? Quickly grasp the things around you, make sense of it, And that is what we call it as cognitive capability. Cognitive capability means something taking consideration all the factors around you and take a holistic approach to the situation around. Consider all possible risks which can come on because of your taking a decision, and what sort of strategy you should be implementing it so that your results will be successful. So let us come to two ways of decision-making, agile decision-making in a business environment. And that is what leaders need to learn and also inculcate or take it down, pass it down to the hierarchies. Have you ever heard about those formal meetings of 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? Massive planning well ahead. My calendar is booked for the next 3 months, 6 months, year. But that doesn't happen anymore now. In order to develop the agilities, there are now, whereas I'm like delivering my speech standing, many of the workforces or environment are now developed around tables, where people come across the tables, stand up, and these are known as 15-minute stand-up meetings. 15 minutes. And everybody got to be prepared. What are you going to deliver next day? What is it happening? Now, in order to deliver quickly, another methodology which leaders need to understand, as well as pass it on to the workforce or inculcate in the work environment, is you cannot keep waiting for those ultimate products. Massive research of 3, 4, 5, 6 years. No. Now quickly develop something, throw it out. Test it, throw it out. Test it, throw it out. What it means is you need to develop the methodology of developing quick prototypes, iterations. These are now known as microservices. You develop into microservices your products or services and quickly roll out into the production environment, what we call it as the customers. Take a feedback quickly from them. How is it working, not working, adapt, change, and again roll back to the production environment. So it's so important nowadays for leaders not only to build agility as well as to build up cognitive capabilities. What does this result in when you have to take decisions? What happens? Now, because see, there is so much uncertainty, there is so much ambiguity. Uncertainty, why? Because things keep changing. Time and time again, they change so fast. Ambiguity means you absolutely have no idea what will happen. One such virus goes into China and it goes and completely changes the whole world. I mean, so the world environment has become so ambiguous. And in these things, how do I take decisions? It takes, boss, what? Guts, courage. Most of the people are afraid of what? Taking decisions. They will fail. Leaders now need to develop the ability to take decisions fearlessly. Means you are going to make mistakes. When there is uncertainty, things are changing so fast, there is all possibility of making mistakes. But that is not so important. Important is how quickly you can realize that you have made a mistake and how quickly you can revert back or recover back from that situation and even accept that such mistake has happened. Didn't we face such situations? Wear a mask today. No, mask is not important. No, from tomorrow onwards, don't wear mask. No, only wear mask in the government. No, okay, wear mask in the public places. Take a vaccine. Don't take a vaccine. I mean, there's so many conflicting data which comes across, and leaders need to take decisions. They need to take responsibility, ownership, but quickly, and recognize mistakes happening, correct the course of action, and keep moving. So what it simply means is, with any form, you need to develop resilience, and that resilience needs to be pass it on across the whole organization. Now, what its resilience means? Imagine you have a full team, smart team, adaptable team. But let's say take the example of what happened in COVID. If somebody falls sick and half of your workforce falls sick, what will you do? How quickly we can recover from those aspects? Now in COVID thing, it really taught us one new thing for leaders. What is that? It's about survival. It's about people, our people. First, let me survive. You are talking big plans. Let me today survive. Now that was the whole employees thinking process started in that way that, let me first survive. Now, if you start talking about business and maybe your kid is not, is either hospitalized, how can you focus on it? So it became important for leaders to develop empathy and first ask, hello, my people, how are you today? Are you okay, all fine? Is anybody having any problem? Yes or no? And if yes, what can we do? Now that brought in a lot of collaboration across. People started, all leaders started collaborating. They started sharing the knowledge across the industry, countries, globally. And within the organizations as well, team leads started asking each other, hello, hi, how are you today? Are you fine? Are you? That means they started checking upon each person. But that was never ever our priority. It was always about production, sales, marketing, profit. What happened? Many companies were brought to their knees all because of such kind of rapid changes. So now leaders started becoming empathetic. They started developing the leadership skills in terms of persuasion, in terms of empathy, in terms of even emotional intelligence. Now, persuasive skills of communication, rather, I would say, become such a big challenge that people previously used to do face-to-face communication. I mean, everybody's around, the whole team is around, and you can so convincing. Now, today, as I'm talking to a group of people across the globe, through the camera, on small camera, it became such a big challenge for leaders to again relearn this whole new technology and how to communicate, because I have absolutely no idea how each person is feeling. But that's where the leaders need to relearn, adapt, and change to how to communicate and how to persuade people in such a changing circumstances. One more thing, what leaders still need to learn. What do they need to learn? They need to learn systems thinking. Now, what does systems thinking mean? It's very easy to go and blame a system. You see, large corporates work on the basis of systems. They work on the basis of their corporate organizational structure. They work on the basis of their strategy. They work on the basis of the governance hierarchy, board of directors, management teams, leadership teams, and project teams. They are so structured. But in terms of changing, rapid change of volatility, if there is a rapid change of, due to uncertainty and the ambiguity, the complexities are increasing. So day by day, you need to become dynamic. You need to be very adaptive. So what does it require? To be adaptable, dynamic, you need to start having listening skills as well. You should be able to see the larger picture as well. You should be able to comprehend the large amount of data as well. Next, what you should be able to do? Can I have a quick thinking from my participants today? As you have a chat box. In the chat, today I can see there are 4 messages. Can you quickly, in the next 10 seconds, can you put some messages in the chat box and say what all requires for a leader and the members to quickly learn or become agile? Let me see some of the messages. What do you all think? Open mind. Tony says open mind. Very important. Next. Be interested. Thank you, Brahm. Brahm says, no idea is stupid. Empathy. Okay, yeah, that's already we discussed empathy. Any other words, something? Agility, yes, that's all we did. Innovative teams. Acceptance. Oh yeah. So acceptance is so important. But when we talk about acceptance, tenacity, when we talk about the flexibility, the dynamism, what's so important for the leaders? Keep it simple. Dinesh says, wow, thank you for that. Thinking out of the box is so important, the maturity in the communicating the vision. All said in one, what's so important for leaders today is to continuously learn. That was our theme today. Being able to learn continuously, being able to keep up the pace with the continuous changing environment. Wow, there is such a nice sound, background sound coming. I really love that. Somebody was really enjoying the coffee or the tea. Beautiful things happen. So today's theme is about continuous learning. And what do we mean by continuous learning? Is to understand around our changing environment, take a feedback as to what are the things which we are lacking into, and quickly grasp those nitty-gritties of how to deliver our subject. Somebody says delegation. Wow, thank you for that. Okay, so continuous learning. How can we learn continuously? We can go and can we go to university courses? Now, university courses, let me tell you, are mostly become outdated. Today, many of the people are learning through MOOCs, massive online, I believe it's known as open courses, small bit-sized courses, maybe Udemy, maybe anybody can suggest any other course quickly, how we can learn, unlearn. Any other course you think? There are such courses. Maybe YouTube. Yes, you can go and learn from YouTube as well. So it's very important for today's our leaders, from where can they learn? And Toastmaster is one such place where you can learn. Because what I was talking about, risk in a kind of an environment where you can adapt yourself and learn how to take risks. It's so important for today's leaders. Let's think about corporate Toastmasters Club, or even as individual Toastmasters Club, advanced clubs. When you come to a Toastmasters environment, you are not under that pressure that you will fail. And this is the place where you can really develop those skills of leadership, because you are not under that pressure or fear of failure, or somebody is going to pull you down, or somebody is going to judge you. No. So this is, I believe, one more big, large avenue, one of the top avenues which I feel today's leaders should be focusing upon as one more option to develop the new age leadership skills. And leadership speak is one such avenue. And the reason why here leaders are encouraged to rapidly adapt to new technologies and new concepts. And leadership speak, we are being given today, all the leaders are being given opportunities to showcase their talent, to learn, get a feedback. Now, for example, on the 18th of February, next month, there's going to be a showcase in front of top people. How can you perform, or how have you, let's say this way, how have you grown through your journey? And people can learn from that. Now, isn't that such a wonderful opportunity? People that way can really take opportunities and consider Toastmasters, especially a leadership speak as an avenue to grow their leadership skills and continuously innovate, communicate, learn. Yes, you can be a lifelong learner, but quick learner, and deliver your objectives. In short, what today we understood is that our today's environment is we are working in a VUCA environment. Things are changing very quickly. Things are not clearly understood. There is a lot of uncertainty. In such a kind of an environment, it's so important for leaders to continuously adapt, to continuously upgrade their skills, not only upgrade their skills to learn agility and to deliver quickly whatever they have learned, pass it on to the next generation, pass it on to your workforce, down the whole of the environment, make them robust, make them adaptable, make them resilient, make yourself resilient, make your employees resilient. Let's pass on all that nice things which we learned at Toastmasters. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Let's give her a big hand. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you very much, Asif. Nowadays, we've become so volatile that uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity overruns us like a steamroller. Thank you very much. Our next speaker, or our first regular speaker, shall we put it that way, is Manohar, speaking from Presentation Mastering. She says, Manju is an award-winning area director, sponsor of 4 clubs, is a person who has tenaciously worked on her goals and transformed herself from a senior manager to a multi-awarding coach, professional speaker, and, listen to this, an Amazon best-selling author. Ashwati is the evaluator. Please, Ashwati, will you read the objectives?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmasters Hannah. I'm going to evaluate distinguished Toastmaster Manju K. Manohar's speech today. The purpose of this speech is for the member to practice delivering social speeches in front of the club members. So I will be looking for a well-organized, well-delivered speech with appropriate content for the type of social speech. So it can be a toast, an acceptance speech, a speech to honor an individual, or a speech to honor an organization. All the best, TTM Manju. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much. Manju, the one who dared to raise the bar, Manju. And her speech is 3 to 4 minutes, Madam Timer. Over to you, Manju.
Thank you so much. Greetings of the day to one and all. Just now, the previous speaker, Mohmad, spoke about VUCA. Do you remember what is VUCA? Because my story begins with a time of great VUCA. You know, uncertainty, complexity, volatility, ambiguity. You had it all. And at that time, there came a person who said, tough is exceedingly good. People all over were complaining, about the COVID lockdown, and Toastmaster leaders were running berserk. The clubs are getting closed down. We don't have people in the Zoom meeting, hardly 5 people present in a Zoom meeting. And this man comes and says, we must move from expecting value to value generation for the greater good. By now, you might have guessed who that man is. The man who said, tough is exceedingly good. Life is a creative game. Yes, it's none other than distinguished Toastmaster Brahmimon. I would like to appreciate him and hand over a small memento from my end to him for daring to dream, daring to raise the bar when the entire world was complaining, oh my God, nobody will come for Zoom meeting. This man goes and declares there would be 1,000 people attending my meeting. 1,000 people? This is a crazy guy. That's what a lot of people across the world said. But then we all know that he made things possible. He declares it and then shows us how it is done. In fact, Leadership Speak, the very club where we are standing, is a project from him, isn't it? In fact, he also had this global leadership impact, right? That summit, this so great excitement and enthusiasm from world over. He had the best of the best joining the team. He used the art of delegation and ensured that the entire Toastmaster world rallied around him. Of course, when the tough situation happens, it's easy to complain. Oh my God, it's COVID, clubs are getting shut down and all. But it takes a man with a vision and great courage, and I would say audacity, to declare to the world, I will make it happen. So I now request each and every one of you to please stand up. I'm also standing up, and give a standing ovation for someone who actually saw that there was light at the end of the tunnel. In fact, we all struck gold by meeting him through this particular club. So I would like each one of you to please stand up and give a standing ovation to DTM Brahman, the one who dared to raise the bar. I would like to end my speech with a small quote from Israel Moore Avio. You are heading towards the top if you raise the bar of your standards inch by inch each hour. Thank you.
And she indeed raised the bar. Thank you very much. We have a leader for you to raise the bar. Thank you very much. And we shall follow Brahman and also raise our bar. Thank you very much. Our second speaker is Mohammed Azimuddin, speaking from Dynamic Leadership. He says he is a mechanical engineer by profession, 12 years in Toastmasters, and his aim is to learn communication and leadership skills and excel in professional and personal life. He says to me, he is a loving father of 3 kids and a loyal husband to 1 wife. That's what he told me. He served as Toastmasters fraternity in all club roles in the executive committee, served as an area governor in District 79, and completed his DTM in 2018, and is working on his next DTM. Francois, what he says about the theme is, leadership is not a position. It is a process of hard work to communicate the vision and lead the team to achieve their goals. Francois is his evaluator. Francois, would you kindly read the objectives? Is Francois in the house? She was here earlier on. There she is.
Muted.
Francois.
She
You're
is muted,
muted.
yes.
Francois is muted.
I am sorry, I thought I was on, sorry. The purpose of this project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how he or she uses nonverbal communication when delivering a speech. Back over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Francois. Mohammed Azimuddin, to whom I shall salute. To whom shall I salute? Mohammed Azimuddin, over to you.
I'm audible now?
Yes, you are.
June 1996, I landed in the Middle East. I got a job here. I can tell you 3 good points for Middle East. good salary, good people, and delicious food in the restaurant. And 3, not so good point, temperature plus 50 degrees centigrade in summer, dehydration, and heat stroke. My first week in Middle East was fantastic. Imagine, bachelor, first time out of home, and delicious food in the restaurant. I really enjoyed. But second week, oh, it was horrible. I started feeling pain here, perhaps here, perhaps a little down. And then I realized, since last 2 days, I have not passed my urine. It was burning in the washroom. I poured cold water on the head, but no effect. I rushed to the clinic and started explaining my medical condition to the doctor. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, for the time being, if you consider yourself in the shoes of a urologist, I will be confidently explaining you my medical condition. So I started in a very simple English. Doctor, I am feeling something diabolically excruciating at the lower part of my abdomen. The doctor. And then after 30 seconds, he started turning the pages of dictionary. And then I realized I am in trouble. And then quickly I decided to use my body language to express, to explain my medical condition. And I started again. Doctor, in the washroom, it is not like this. Doctor, once again. And tit for tat, he also used body language. He pointed at the door. And without wasting my time, I followed the direction to the reception. And the lady sent me to another room, treatment room. Treatment room. And the nurse quickly handed a water bag and injected directly in my vein. And then after 1 hour, my medical condition changed. I started feeling something, a unique feeling. And then I released my control. And I was feeling as if I am dancing in the rain. And the evidence was prominent on the floor. That night, I was sleeping in my bed. And I was thinking, today I saved myself from a medical condition because of only the body language. Is it not appropriate to salute them who discovered the body language? And then my mind rolled back to the Stone Age, where the group leader was using the body language to command his people to surround the buffalo in the hunting ground. Shall I salute them? Or shall I salute the scuba divers who dive down deeper into the sea and communicate using body language? I am okay. My oxygen is finished. Or shall I salute 10 years old boy Ahmed, my next day neighbor? Yesterday evening, I saw him. He tripped from his bicycle. I saw a stream of blood over his finger, tears on his painful face. He was trying to cry aloud. but his voice was not helping him. I rushed to help him. He turned at me. And then I saw a small hearing device on his ear. He tried to grab his cycle with his shaking hand, but failed. He tried again, and again he failed. I rushed to him and helped him grabbing his cycle. Ahmed stood up, turned at me, and gave a smile. Ahmed went home, but he left a deep feelings in my heart. Fellow Toastmasters, every year, 700,000 children are born muted. They don't have the voice even to complain to God for their disability. They are struggling to live a normal life like we do. But they are neglected. Fellow Toastmasters, let our leadership process begins with helping these people. Let our leadership speak in favor of their equal rights in health, education, and employment. Look around. You will find many Ahmed in your community, in your city, in your family. Go to them and look for how can you help them. I got my Ahmed. He is the pioneer of body language. The language I used to get rid of my medical condition. I must salute you. Over to you.
Sure, Mohmad, I salute you also for that awesome speech. Thank you very much, and another salute. Our third speaker, wow, none other than Fursey Gotuaco, speaking from Persuasive Influence, using descriptive language as he can do so beautifully. Fursey is a 3-time district winner, champion winner in District 25 and 85 in both table topics and international speech contests. In 2020, he reached the semifinals of the World Champions of Public Speaking, and he was a finalist in 2022. In August of 2020, he won District 25's Toastmaster of the Year, another person to salute. Banasreen, please read his objectives.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. The purpose of his speech is to practice writing a speech with an emphasis on adding language to increase interest and impact. All the best, Toastmaster Fursey. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Fursey, to teach is to lead is to teach. To teach is to lead is to teach. Fursey, over to you.
What is leadership? Isn't this the question that we have been answering all day long? And isn't this the question that the world has been trying to answer for eons, eras? Why even Lance Secretan the other day was trying to say to everyone, he's been studying leadership his whole life, and he's still pursuing the answer. We go online and ask about leadership, and we find all these images about what we think leadership is, what leadership should be. Is it that? Is it that? Is it that? Is it this? Leadership versus boss? That? And as a principal of a school, I'm wondering, what kind of leader am I going to be? Is it that? Is it this? Tons of images. You name it, you'll find it. What is leadership? When we talk about vision, we talk about power, we talk about strength. but we're going to talk about this. In his book, Lead with Your Strengths, Tom Rath, a best-selling author, talked about the 4 things that followers look for in leaders: trust, stability, compassion, hope. Trust, stability, compassion, hope. We talk about these things as if they are abstract, but in fact, they are really quite concrete in our lives. We just have to look for it. For me, I find it in my profession, that of a teacher. And I realize how many things I do as a teacher that could be considered leadership. And then I inverted the thought. What if instead of thinking of teaching and finding leadership, what if I found leadership and where you are a teacher? Some of the greatest leaders we think of in the history of the world are great teachers that even now, thousands of years later, we still learn from them. Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Jesus Christ. When we are leading the people to whom we are entrusted, do not we lead? Do not we inspire hope? Do not we teach what the future can be to create stability? Don't we lead by showing compassion? Somebody in your work, as the speakers today have talked about, somebody at your work is feeling ill. Do we not reach out to them and take care of them? Don't we greet each other when we first come onto the screen today? In your families, do you not inspire that stability that says all will be okay? In your jobs, when the seas get rocky, do you not say we will be okay? And you steady the ship. In your jobs, when you have a mountain to climb, do you not say, I will help lead the charge? Could we not also go back to find the person who is at the back and say, I will help you. I will help you. I believe in you. You can climb this mountain and we will do it together. Do we not inspire? Do we not support? Do we not believe in others? Do we not love? In your own lives, where you consider yourself a leader, where are you teaching? Where are you teaching people new skills? Where are you teaching people new knowledge? For myself, I love to teach people that they have talent, which is strange because I work in a school where everything is based on the skill level that you are acquiring, where everything is based on the knowledge level that you are gaining. But knowledge and skill are nothing compared to talent. You could take 2, 3 people, give them the same knowledge and skill, and yet one person rises because there is talent. I believe in inspiring that talent. No matter what building I am in, what setting I am in, I will lead that person. I will lead that organization by helping people find their talent, by teaching them about who they are in their hearts. I will provide stability I will provide compassion. I will provide hope. I will build trust. 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 To teach is to lead, is to teach. By saying that it is teaching, we give it an active verb, a focus, a laser-like focus, a focus on the other individual, not on the profit margins, not on growth, but the growth of the person. To teach is to lead, is to teach. Who will you teach today? Who will you teach today? Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Sure. I have to give you another salute, Fursey. Thank you very much. And we shall raise the bar and we will not let it out of our eyes. We shall follow it. Thank you very much, nevertheless, for helping us out in the last minute, Fursey. And thank you very much for all your amazing speeches. Be stubborn about the goals and flexible about your methods, and reach the top of the mountain so you can see the world and not that the world can see you. Madam Timer, have all the speakers been on time, please?
Yes, with exception of our leadership speak and the times I'm putting now in the chat box. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, and please give me an okay when the poll is finished.
The poll will be launched by the Sergeant at Arms. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think there's an error on the list of speeches. The first one is not by me.
Are we ready with the poll? Can we go on? Seeing that our ship has had too much of a sea wave and what have you, and we are a bit short of time. So let's just have 2 minutes of break that you can quickly refresh and so forth. Madam Chairman, will you just show the time at 2 minutes finish, please?
Yes, I will.
Ashwini?
2 minutes.
Yes, I think 2 minutes are done, and let's all reconvene again. I would want to make an announcement. I think the best effort speaker poll needs to be relaunched because the first speaker name is wrongly mentioned as Toastmaster DTM Rojirana. I think it should be Mohmad. Asif Saiyed.
We'll rectify that just now. Francois, will you kindly attend to that? Thank you. Then we can launch the poll again. Thank you very much. I hope you had a 2-minute break quickly. And now my next person on board is Mariana VUCA, our table topics master. She will test your thinking and speaking skills for 2 minutes. Mariana VUCA is our Vice President of Education, who strongly believes in continuous self-improvement is the cornerstone of our modern, ever-changing lives. She will be evaluated by Ram Lankampai. Do you want to say anything about the evaluations? Ram?
Yes, can you hear me? Madam Toastmaster? I don't know why.
Yes, we
Madam
can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay, all right. Toastmaster Mariana will delegate, delegates all the time, has delegated roles for the duration of this term. She'll be speaking on the path, Persuasive Influence, Level 2, Active Listening Project. The purpose of this project is for Mariana to demonstrate her ability or abilities to listen to what others say and reflect on that. My ears are open and I'm ready for this table topic session. And the time will be 5 to 7 minutes. Madam Table Topics Master, or in this case, Madam.
Thank you very much, Ram. Mariana will have, I think you will have about 5 to 6 table topics for you. Over to you, Mariana.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. And table topics is an opportunity for practicing our impromptu speaking skills between 1 to 2 minutes. And I will ask questions. I would like you to give a mini speech with a beginning, the middle, and the ending part. And I will tell you what I heard, what you said. And that's my project today. So first, I would like to call Sandy. Sandy, being a leader is an opportunity of a lifetime of learning. Do you agree or disagree?
Lifetime learning to be a leader, I absolutely agree. We as humans begin to learn and evolve and grow, not just in physical stature and features, but spiritually and emotionally throughout our whole life, if we're lucky. And leadership it's a way of being. It's, you know, we often talk in the club that it's not a position or a title, it's a way of being. And I really aspire to the whole notion of there is no finish line. We're not ever going to get everything all done. And when you sit into that feeling that it's okay to fail, it's okay to not have an engaged team, leadership is really about becoming. if I had to choose only one word to describe leadership, I believe that's what it would be: becoming, because we are constantly becoming. However, at places like Leadership Speak and reading good books, the practice of becoming a better leader really does take a lot of commitment, takes a village, takes a lot of delegation, takes mentoring. There's a lot of levels to becoming the leader that you want to become, and develop other leaders to allow them that space for them to become. So really, when you embrace lifelong learning, it just becomes a lot more fun and a lot more exciting. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much, Sandy, for your answer. And what I learned from you, that even though you're a leader, you have to learn and you have to educate yourself constantly to be, and you have to practice becoming a better leader. Thank you very much. My next table topic speaker, I would call Dinesh. Thank you, Dinesh, for participating. And what is your learning style? You are visual, auditory, read or write, or kinesthetic reader, a lead learner?
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. As Sandy said, as a leader, we need to believe in lifelong learning. However, lifelong learning is important, but as you rightly said, everybody learns differently. More importantly, my personal belief is in the adults learning theory, as adults learn from listening to others. Adults learn from real life stories. As you did your presentation last week or last week, and you said, if I can do it, you can do it also. That inspired me. That said to me, hey, look, Marina herself is putting it out there saying, if I can do it, you can do it. Now, that's an audio part of learning. However, when I saw Fursey presenting today, and he's going through slide by slide on what the leadership is, he sticked around the last slide, which had trust, stability, compassion, and hope. I had that slide quickly written down. What am I saying? I learned it from the visual part of it. If he had only spoken those 4 words, trust, stability, compassion, and hope, I may not have written it down. But because it was sticked there on that screen, I was able. So now I'm a visual person too. The third and the very important part of it is, first he talked about Mother Teresa. First he talked about Gandhi. He talked about Nelson Mandela. And then I say, if they can do it, I can do it. So learning for me is a combination of visual, audio, and life learning theories from the other people. Back to you, Mariana.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dinesh. And what I learned from you, that yes, we all learn differently, and we can't really just pick one style of learning, because it depends on the teaching opportunity, what we are learning from, what kind of, but your main learning style is auditory and visual. And these are that we are usually meet with. Thank you very much. Our next table topic speaker is Brahma. Bram, thank you very much for joining us. And Did you like to study, learn new things as a child?
Madam Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. If I told you about my childhood, you wouldn't want to live it. It was like a prison. I felt constrained, confined. My creativity was quelled. All we were supposed to do was go to school, learn, be educated, and get a job. That was the purpose. And so if you say that I enjoy learning new things, I didn't know what new things were except what was in the textbooks and what was supposed to be taught in schools, what I was supposed to learn, memorize, and then regurgitate in an exam. Mind you, I was the top student in the school. So I used to go to the library. My mom used to read a lot. She used to go to the library at least once a week and sometimes often. And I would go to the library and I became a member as a child. I was like 10, 11, 12. I used to borrow books and I used to read books and I thoroughly enjoyed those books. Anybody here as a child ever read Enid Blyton? Anyone? Someone? Famous Five, Secret Seven, yeah?
Yep.
Wasn't it just amazing? And now they're called racist. I don't know why, but at that time when I was growing as a kid, I didn't find them racist at all. I thoroughly enjoyed those. Like, they were just amazing. And then, of course, as I grew up, James Hadley Chase. Come on, who was the James Hadley Chase fan here? Yeah? No Orchids for Miss Blandish was one of those famous books. I loved reading. And sometimes I would read 1 or 2 books, 300-page books a day during the school holidays. And I really loved that. And that's why as you can see, my command of English is what it is because of that. And I consider English my first language. It is really, because that's the only language I'm fluent in. And it is only much later in life when I had to unshackle myself and become creative. And I said, to hell with all the education that I had, because it meant nothing to me, that I really became creative and really enjoyed to create things. And as you can see on the screen, this is a creation, right? With many other people coming together and Tony here as well. So thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Bram. Always good to learn something new about our members. And what I learned from you, that you were a good student in school, but you preferred your independent discovery learning than the school curriculum. But of course you did well, just like in everything. Thank you very much. Next question is going for Tony. Tony, are you here? All right, we come back to him. AJ Heron.
Yes, you.
There I am. There I am.
Thank you
Good
for
morning.
Good morning. And I have a question for you. Did your learning style change as an adult from your childhood learning style?
I was about 13. I sat in the room and up on the board, the teacher was writing and writing and writing all of the different pieces of information I needed to know that day. As Fursey would say, to teach is to lead. But at that time, me, to teach was to sleep. I sat there, stared at that board while she wrote, and I got more and more and more sleep. Eventually, I was called up to the board to point out some country. Down comes the map. I walk up. Fear. I have no idea where Greece is. I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking. There. Wrong. I went home and I said to my father, I'm not learning anything. I'm just sleepy when I'm in the class. He said, well, are you keeping attention? I could, if I could read the board. He took me to an eye doctor. And with that, I got glasses. Bam! I could see. I could learn. And I learned a lot from that point forward. To teach is to lead, but also to see. Adam Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, AJ. Well, I got memories back from my childhood about listening to a teacher and falling asleep because they just didn't know what to do or how to do it right. But yes, also, it's a good idea to being able to see. So you are probably a visual learner, and thank you for sharing your story. Thank you very much. We have one more. Is Tony back yet? Tony? In that case, I would like to call Zoe.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you very much. Tell me, Zoe, why is it important to keep learning as an adult?
It's hard not to learn, you know? It's hard not to learn. Imagine you don't learn. What else can you do? Keep busy learning or keep busy dying. Keep busy learning or keep busy dying. Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, why are we here? Because we have no other choices. You know, I mean, we have choices. We can do A, B, C things, but we love learning. We love coming here and learn from each other because why not? And there's no other way out. You know, our mind is like, we get bored and we want attach meaning. And if you spend your day 24 hours without learning, you're basically like you're dying. And we don't want to die. We don't want to die. And the antidote against the dying is not to, you know, have a lot of money, have a lot of titles, have a lot of certificates, have a lot of like things you just can boast. No, it's keep learning. The pleasure comes from discovering something you don't know before and to exploring and to understand the world a bit more, understand each other a bit more, and to enrich your life. So this question, it's like, because we cannot stop. We cannot stop. We all know that, say, when we are ill, we have to lie in bed and we cannot go out. Maybe we cannot even read and we cannot listen to podcasts. And then it's really feel like, oh, I don't want to live my life this way. I want to learn something, anything, maybe A, B, C, or even simple calculation, anything, just let me learn. We keep learning because keep busy learning or keep busy dying. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Zoe. Excellent answer. And as I understand, you believe, and I believe absolutely, that we are programmed to learn and our brain has to be busy, and happy people are learning constantly. Thank you very much. And that was a table topic session. Please vote for the best table topic speaker. Today we had Sandy, Dinesh, Bram, AJ, and Zoe. Do we have a poll?
No, I think we will do it at the end because we're just preparing the board.
Will you let me know when the poll is over, please?
Definitely.
So we've just received poll from 18 members, yet 10 more to go, and then we'll close it.
All right, back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much for your thought-provoking table topics. And now we got to know a little bit more of our Toastmasters. Another stalwart on my leadership is Mary Lou Asan, our general evaluator, who I am now delegating the steering wheel to her. And she talks about the theme, leadership is a continuous learning process. For her, this is a very true statement. One should, with the duration of our time, seek to learn more, understand more, and be able to contribute more to the world. One of the reasons she joined and continues to be with Leadership Speak. Over to you, my general evaluator, Mary Lou.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, and all our welcome guests today. This is the time of the meeting where we take a look at how well we have done at running the meeting. One of the things that we want to do is look at the general evaluation of each of the speakers that have spoken today. I would like to call up our first speaker, which will be Rosie Rana, who will do the evaluation for Mohammed Asif. Rosie.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially Asif, I truly, truly commend you for delivering a keynote filled with wisdom and nuggets for us. You picked a very topical subject. You know, the past 2-3 years have compelled us to rise up to challenges and disruptions. And you really used that to share with us. And you had us captivated. As I looked around the room, everyone was wrapped with attention as you addressed the various skills and necessities and what leaders need to be. From telling us we need to be agile, innovative, we need to take decisions fearlessly, we must develop resilience, develop sympathy. You talked about dynamism, adaptiveness, listening skills, continuous learning. You also introduced to us many concepts from VUCA, waterfall technology, system thinking. And this showed the credibility and the research that you had undertaken. Extremely well done, and we were all totally engaged and interested. I particularly liked the effective illustrations that you used. Illustrations are like that cement. They cement the content. And the one that was powerful for me was the Nokia one, because Nokia has been a dying brand when it was, you know, really big in the olden days. So you use that to show us very strongly how if we don't adapt, we can fail. So I loved that illustration, but you used many others, and thank you for that. You spoke deliberately, intentionally, and naturally. This displayed a lot of comfort, you know, confidence. You're obviously a speaker who delivers many presentations because it was so easy to follow you. You enunciated every word and you were very organized, and particularly at the end, you summarized everything extremely well. Superb. So many, many, many strong points you have, Mohammed Asif. Well done. How can you now take this to a higher level? First, I feel that, especially in a long extended speech, it's very important to see how your lessons can be narrowed and brought into maybe 3 broad categories And I think you could have achieved this. I think you could have stuck to agility, empathy, and resilience. This way, you could have had things like innovation or making decisions as subpoints under agility. When you bring empathy, listening or being adaptive could have been a subpoint. Resilience could have been like, your overarching point. When you do this, you are anchoring other points within those main points, and it becomes much easier for the audience to remember. When you pack too many points, it's hard for the audience to remember everything. So maybe just try and see how you can put them in categories and have solid takeaways. And secondly, I want to challenge you. You're a fantastic speaker. I want to challenge you to try and be dynamic. Try and be varied, vary your voice, carry it, vary your gestures, have tonality, bring in personal anecdotes. This will really build more audience engagement and interest and really keep us. You had us hooked, but this will keep us more uplifted. But brilliant nuggets. Thank you so much. And I look forward to your next speeches. Wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rosie. That was a great evaluation of Asif's presentation. I'd just like to comment, I loved your background. So the white with the pink just pops. And the thing that I loved, the only thing that I would recommend is the same thing that it's your hands. I lost your gestures because they're just below. Right. So it's again something that we all have to work on. But yeah, that was the only thing. And I loved that you gave that challenge to Asif to be dynamic, because you spoke to it, you emphasized how it could make a difference to the presentation just by what you said. So thank you very much. Our next evaluator is Aswati Rajan, who will be doing the evaluation for Manju Bandharhar. Aswati, please.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. High in emotions, higher in energy, and highest in the impact. That was your speech, distinguished Toastmaster Manju. What an amazing power-packed speech it was. The moment you started the speech with that quote, I literally had goosebumps. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me share some of the highlights which moved me as a listener. For me, the speech was a complete persuasive speech. The introductory quote, the body of the speech, and even the conclusion, all of it had three essential elements: ethos, pathos, and logos. I could clearly get the value from it. And I'm sure the speech would have persuaded the audience to believe in themselves and to accept the challenges courageously. Second was the amazing audience connect. DTM Manju, you captivated the audience throughout. The energy and the involvement was at its peak when you asked everyone to stand up, to give standing ovation. And that was the moment. You just captivated all of them and they were all with you that time. So now as an evaluator, let me share few suggestions which according to me can make your speech even better. First is Zoom presence. I could see a background of a tunnel, and which I believe represented the dark tunnel in which the world was stuck during the pandemic. But unfortunately, I could not find any mention of such things in your speech which could connect your speech with the background. I thought it was missing. But of course, towards the end, you showed DTM Ram's photos, and because he's the person for whom you dedicated the whole speech. So that was really great. Secondly, I also felt that at times your hand gestures were not very clear. I could see that you were trying to move your hands, but because of the background, it was not so clear. So altogether, your speech was highly inspiring and persuasive speech. And if you could work a little bit on your Zoom presence, I believe it will be a very impactful and an outstanding speech. All the very best, DTM Manju. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Ashwati, for that evaluation. Yes, the speech that Manju gave was extremely, it spoke to all of us because we've always been here with Brown. So yes, you have sort of reiterated exactly, her raising the bar. So thank you very much for that evaluation. Our second evaluator for our regular speeches is Francois Bourne, who is going to give us the evaluation for Mohammad Azimuddin. Francois?
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Mohammad, good day to you. You excelled at intentionally showing various languages of body actions and reactions between yourself and your doctor through the speeches. Here's the first example. Leaning forward and the head turned back. The insertion of the needle. Laying down on the chair. The call to action at the end. This flows so well, like a stage theater play. Example, raising your hand in salute and standing at attention. It was like a soldier and a police officer on the Independence Day, and the Governor General is about to walk through the lines. So they each stand at attention and their hands right next to their head. You did that exceptionally well. It caught me a lot. It caught me immediately as well. So these are a few intentional body languages I'm highlighting that work so well with your speech. What you may want to work on, the unintentional body language, swaying. Not sure if all of us are born with this, but it seems to be automatic in all of us. We're standing, speaking to someone, we are presenting, and we just keep swaying. But just be mindful of that, okay? To challenge yourself in acting, there is a final step that is called let it go. Here you release everything. My advice in using this step in regular conversation, and if you're doing a presentation that is not humorous, be minimal with the amount of body language that, the amount of reactions that you will show. But if you're doing a humorous presentation, hey, let it all go, like no holding back. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for also letting us understand the value of our doctors. Back over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Francois. It is great when an evaluator can mimic some of the actions and re-emphasize the positive approach that action takes on a speech. So thank you very much for that, for doing that within Mohammed's speech. Our third evaluator for the day is Banasi Banajir, who is going to be doing the evaluation for Fursey Gotuaco. Banashir.
Good evening. Am I audible, visible? Because I can see something is on my screen saying has asked to start my video. Am I visible?
You're good.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and good evening to Fursey for such a wonderful speech on leadership. There are few speeches that leaves you awestruck by the words and the ideas, and some speeches are there which mesmerizes us not only by the words, but also by the different aspects of the speeches that goes along with it, be it media, be it hand gestures, be it your eye movement, be it your background. And in your speech, everything was there. The fact that really moved me was that you took your position and there was an air of authority around you. And you asked the question, what is leadership? And you kept giving arguments after arguments. And you pointed out the book that we had referred last week, the speaker who was here. The fact that you kept referring to different aspects actually engaged all of us. And we started referring to how you have created your speech. I really enjoyed the way you have structured your speech. The second point, which I loved, is the arguments. The message was all about trust, stability, compassion, and hope. You kept on giving situations one after another, talking about where we should look for leaders who are talking about trust. Why should we look for anything else when there are people whom we should trust, like Nelson Mandela? Why can't we trust people in our screen? So like the logic you have kept giving was really commendable. The third point, which I really enjoyed, was your gestures. We have learned how you climb mountain, how you look into the screen, how you point impactfully to all of us. The only point of recommendation which I would say that every speaker should have is, as per the evaluation form, it was stated that there could be some plot and setting, which I could not find, but there was a lot of language which made an impact in your message. The language definitely had good words, and that is what I felt was that created the images that we should look for a trust for the leader. And in conclusion, what I could only say is that conclude that the speaker has everything that is required to achieve greatness. All I need is looking at the purpose of the statement, because there were a couple of things that I was discussing about. Definitely, you have a very good voice, which is like a strong combination of Jim Carrey and Harrison Ford, and lots of passion in your voice that literally moved all of us. So all the best to you, and looking forward to better leadership videos from your side. Over to you.
Thank you, Banasri.
Thank you, Benazir, for that evaluation. Yes, Fursey is a difficult speaker to evaluate, but we all have to evaluate at some point in time. The only recommendation that I would actually make for you is, as we all transition to learning online, your background is great, which is clear, but because we move around, you have moved up and you've lost your head. So we move around as we are on screen. The other thing that I would say to you is, try and when you're giving your evaluation, try to focus on the person that you are giving the evaluation to, because you are looking down most of the time, and only at the end did you actually actively engage with Fursey. So other than that, very good. Thank you very much. Our fourth evaluator is Ram Lakampal, who will be giving us an evaluation on Mariana Burka in her table topics, active listening. Ram.
Madam GE, fellow Toastmasters from around the world. Mariana, do you really, your answers to participants were crisp. I would call it bang on, as per the requirement of the project. So, which is great. And here are some of the things I noticed that you did very well. And they're only a small list of 3. Therefore, you mapped the stated objectives of the project. Pretty bang on. And word of the day, crisp response. I'd say the responses were crisp, and the participants understood as to what you're referring to. A very, very well organized for a Zoom presence, like we should in this environment. We sometimes move around and we move our hands a little bit differently. We don't look at the speaker or the participants in this case, but there were no such thing. You were really, really right on. And that is what we look forward 2. Growth points. Today I need a coffee, I think, another coffee. You could have defined your plan at the beginning for attendees who have not heard how table topics is done at Leadership Speaks, because we don't have it all the time. You could have defined that the guests will be included as well. And the guests came at the very last. I think there were some anticipation by the guests whether are we going to be included? I don't know. And I would put them on second or third, something like that, because 92% of the participants were regular members, which is okay. That's a style you use, but I would have changed it a little bit differently. I would also encourage the use of the word of the day. I did not hear, unless my earmuffs was sort of muffled, whatever, and I did not hear. You should encourage that. We had a theme and we had a table, we had a word of the day. And I'd like to use one example that you asked speaker number 1, Toastmaster Sandy. And your question was a lifetime learning. You were listening quite intently, and that is commendable. You really addressed what Sandy, Toastmaster Sandy was doing. You said, despite being a leader, you need to practice a little bit more and more by doing some of the things that you learn a lot better, rather than just rely on theory. And there are so many others. And of course, there were others as well, like Brum. Brum said during childhood, and what happened in childhood, he did not want to really rely on these types of things, but rather go and he didn't want to just think about a job, but rather doing other things as well. With that, bang on, great job, Mariana. Let's see your next speech. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you, Ram. That was a very good evaluation of Mariana's table topic session. And I'm going to piggyback on your evaluation to tell Mariana that, yes, you did follow through on the theme of the meeting today in making sure that leadership, excuse me, is a continuous learning process. So thank you very much. I will ask the timer to give us the timers for she's put it in the chat. So that's one part of it done. And if we could please have the poll for the evaluators, that would be wonderful as well, please.
Madam GE? Yes, the times have been put in the chat. And the reason why, because I wanted to add some things through it. For the first speaker, we had 23 minutes. And what I noticed was that the speaker at the end was starting to do a summary in 22 minutes. So maybe that is one thing that the speaker can look into. The second speaker, Manju, was using the time very, very effectively. And I was so into the speech that I forgot to put on the cues, but she was so good that she herself paced her into the time allotted. For the table topic speakers, all of them use their time very well in 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes. That is listening very well and producing their thoughts. The first evaluator, Rosie, nice usage of the time, but at 2 minutes into her time, she started with the suggestions and ended up doing 3 minutes and 47 seconds. The last speaker, Ram, also with the evaluation at 2 minutes, started into the objective of the the project. So taking those into consideration, we can do better with our timings. Back to you, Madam Chi.
Thank you very much, Fabiola. I apologize for missing the sort of evaluation of the timing. And you're actually giving us your assessment, not just the times, has actually been a very interesting process. So thank you very much for doing active listening as well as doing timing. So thank you very much on that point. Have we launched the poll for the evaluators yet? Okay, I will let that run for 30 seconds, and then we will go on to our grammarian for the day.
General evaluator, with your permission, can I relaunch the best effort speaker poll as well, because it is updated now?
Okay, sure. And then I will have to get the results. Thank you. Is the
Not yet.
best
There we go.
effort speaker is audio screen now?
Okay, while that goes, I'm going to ask Bernal, who is our grammarian for today, to please give us his evaluation, please, or his report. Hi, Bernal. You're muted.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now I'm sharing one of the beautiful moments I captured as a grammarian. We all know that today, word of the day is delegate. We all know delegates mean to give control, responsibility, or authority to someone, to trust someone with a job or duty. So with that, now coming to the list of who used the word of the day today. Mohmad, one time. Manju, one time. Fursey, one time. Ram, two times. Hannah, two times. Please clap for all the speakers who use word of the day. Now coming to the next. Improper grammatical uses or suggestions. Improper uses like during my speaking. I think it will be better during my speech. What reason did he come here for? I think it's better for what reason did he come here? After starting my life, it should be journey of my life. I gonna make a mistake. I am gonna make a mistake. How to spell? It's better. How do you spell? How to take a risk is better. How do you take a risk? I look forward to meet you. I look forward to meeting you. In my life, you know, is better in my life. There are so much people, better, there are so many people. You could stood up. The better usage would be you could stand up. Now coming up the list thoughts was saying like VUCA word. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. Agility means flexibility or coordination. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Compassion, understanding or pity for somebody who is suffering. Punching, strike with the fist. Immersing, deep or submerged in a liquid. Embrace, to put your arm around somebody as a sign of love happening, etc. Empathetic, showing an ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Confined, very small. eloquent, able to use language and express your opinion well, especially when you speak in public. And apart from that, I like to quote, keep busy learning or keep busy dying, by Joe Guest. And another is Dr. Asif talking about ethos, pathos, and logo. And today, all the modern era of ad agency are using these three type of emotional quotient in the entire ad industry: ethos, pathos, logos. With that, back to you, G.
Thank you, Murnell. If anybody has ever raised the bar in a grammarian's role, oh boy. That's amazing. So Murnell used technology. He used a really comprehensive grammarian's report. So amazing. Thank you very, very much for that. Yeah, raising the bar, and a salute to you too. So I'd just like to see our polls, if we could see the results.
Madam G, the Toastmaster of the day
will do that. Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. So in general, for the meeting, we started a minute late, but we were getting on time. Hannah, you did a great job as being the Toastmaster of the day. Your black background made you pop against the screen. The only thing is that I think if you go offline or if you go too far back, you became a ghost. So just be careful of that. And overall, the meeting itself, everything went tickety-boo with being in theme with what was set up. Kenneth, great job. You have learned so much from Fursey and Adeline. Your background was great. Your pop of color was great. The only thing you have to be a little bit careful of is your shadow, because your lighting, because your shadow was popping on the white background. Other than that, I'm going to hand the meeting back to our Toastmaster of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Evaluator. That is absolutely fantastic of you. I know where I have to delegate my my job to. Now I may take over again. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters, wow. Best speaker, best table topic speaker, best evaluator. Guess who that could be? Drum roll for the best speaker. The person who raised the bar. Manju, congratulations. The best table topic speaker. A lady who visits us every now and then. And she is so smiley and friendly and so full of love. Zoe, congratulations. And the best evaluator. Can you guess who that is? Drum roll for Rosie. Congratulations to everybody. Good for you. We have now, due to our timer, safely anchored, and before we all disembark and roll up the gangway, I would like to onboard some guests. And I have noticed that from Leadership Speak members, we were nearly full house.